What's good, man? It's OG Drip, man. This is the channel where we talk about the spiritual truth and how to utilize energy on a day-to-day basis, man. And today, man, we got to get deep, man. Especially comment down below if you ever find yourself getting out of one by mistake. But today we talking about spiritual contracts or a soul contract, however you want to look at it, right? Because one thing about it is, as people, you don't have to necessarily be a celebrity just to sell your soul. A lot of people don't realize what it means to actually sell your soul. You get what I'm saying? Or to sell your spirit, or to put your spirit on the back burner is another way to looking at it. So when it comes down to spiritual contracts, sometimes we don't realize how we do these things within ourselves, and we don't understand sometimes how we end up doing these things with others. Because when we say the spiritual contract, we're talking about something that you're not consciously aware to. We're talking about something that's unconscious, something that you're not thinking of on a daily. You know what I'm saying? But it's happening. You know, so when we get down to this, it's certain ways that you handle missions or handle business within people, and also when it comes to yourself. Now, let me give you a self example. Now, when it comes down to yourself, you might have something that you don't want to necessarily do, but you know the only way to get there is through this. So sometimes you might have to make a contract with yourself. Let's say if you're going to use it in a transmutable way of saying it's something for you to build where you're actually trying to get at. So it's part of your purpose and part of your goal. Now that'll be a different story. But when you but at the end of the day, you're still signing one, and for you to have these terms and conditions that come with it, it's a lot better than you taking these spiritual terms of the physical world and expecting the same play out. Because at the end of the day, you can't control the physical world the way that you want. It's already being controlled by a whole bunch of other people that already figured out, hey, if I go over here first, the rest of this stuff gonna follow behind these people. If I could control their minds, their body will follow behind, regardless if they know it or not. You know what I'm saying? Because it'll be something conscious and something unconscious. And this is where we talking about it's something that's not even in their mind to know what's going on. So this is what we talking about with the spirit realm and stuff like that. So they found a way to trick people. So not only that you got to worry about, but when you're going into it yourself, you still have things that you do probably with a family or something. Say if you with a family member, right? And the family member might be asking you to do something you don't technically like doing, and like you're not really benefiting nothing from it, not nothing that you had to do with whatever you're trying to get done in your life, and it got nothing to do with your purpose or your goal, but you're steady doing these things, right? And then now when you tell that person no, it's damn near like that person damn near want to kill you or fight you over something, right? And it's like because you're going against the contract that you put in with them. And a lot of times a lot of people don't understand from the spiritual point first, when it coming from yourself, is you was unaware that you was even giving this person that contract because you didn't speak on it. And then when you seen them taking advantage of it, you know, and this is what I be meaning too by, you know, it ain't all the time good to be humble, because now by you being humble and not saying nothing to it, now somebody has placed something on you where you're not necessarily realizing what's going on. You get what I'm saying? And they don't comfort you up to make you feel good about doing that for them. So, you know, and that don't play out to just with everybody, because some people will hear stuff like this and they'll get real narcissistic and think that it's everybody in the world to attack them and stuff like that. So you know, be very careful of what you got to say when you're in these damn videos. So that's why y'all be hearing me try to formulate words, or I might say something, might go back over it and try to say it a different way, because sometimes people take a message in, I think, a little too fast, or they're not actually understanding the spiritual terms and they're getting more lost into the words. Because just like, you know, earlier when I was saying how it worked with yourself, I was saying how you assign meaning that you assign a spiritual contract with others. So how it worked from your point of view of like, damn, I didn't know I signed this on some unconscious stuff. So at the end of the day, this is like the thing that a lot of people do, especially like if you allow certain things to be said and done without adjusting it or without having to say so, but you have power over things. This is the reason why a lot of religions get lost too. It's just like the Buddha taking the vow of silence and all these type of people here, and other people just getting lost because they don't understand what this person is saying. So they don't understand if this person agreeing with them or is saying like this is what's going on. So they get them lost onto trying to follow somebody else, because everybody want to try to keep a certain secret and try to withhold it because of neglect and because of the fight back you get. And then another thing is, like, sometimes people end up, you know, you end up giving them this contract or this spiritual oath where they start receiving things and they feel like this is owed to them. So they start kind of putting you on a contract spiritually, like where you have to pay spiritual taxes. Like, you get what I'm saying? It's like weird, because then they're like, oh, you taught me this, but listen, I need this from you and that from you. And they'll try to use the stuff that was taught from you or the things that y'all was talking about amongst each other, and you open up to be vulnerable too. So they'll use that against you, be like, but you know you don't like to do this. So I was gonna do this, and like, you know, and then sometimes it get real confusing, even on a little small note of where you're able to see, like, damn, I didn't even know I was obligated to do this type of stuff. And this is when you find out, like, yo, damn, I'm under a soul contract. You get what I'm saying? So even on a big note, what like the celebrities go through is when somebody's selling they spirit basically for their physical life. They're like, bump what I'm gonna have to go through further is my spirit, and fuck how my mind's gonna be, even though my mind gonna be fucked up going through some shit like this. And I'm gonna have to have a fucked up mind in order to get to this position. You know, dog eat dog world. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna go ahead and do it, and fuck however my body feel, or hey, I'm so satisfied with what's going on in the physical world, I don't really care about the spiritual. So this already let people know they saw the contract too to pick the physical world over basically the spiritual one, and they don't realize, like, damn, you don't contract yourself into this. Like, and now when you're not following these rules, these people take things from you. You get what I'm saying? And that's what a lot of celebrities go through when they don't want to listen. Now these people that control the world, control Earth, and that could take it from you, which they can't take your spirit from you. But the way that they do it is making you put your spirit into the physical world so deep that when they take something physical from you, it's damn near like they took your spirit. You feel what I'm saying? And it's obligated to you, and you tied so hard into it that you can't live without it. That type of shit. But literally, when you die, you can't take it with you anyways. So when in religion people say that, they say it, but they don't understand how it actually plays out in the spirit realm, right? Or saying it from a spiritual sense. So when we getting down to talking about all these different type of spiritual contracts, like I said, they all different levels. So then you have a balance level where it might work for you, but if you was to crash or if it was to go south, you know what I'm saying, you trying to be like a demon to get something done, but like now you did it too much, you probably overused it, or the type of person you picked to try to get it done wasn't the type of person that was on that type of stuff. So the shadow priest or whoever you signed this contract with did not know of these terms. You get what I'm saying? So when we say terms and agreement, bro, it's different when you're saying it from a spiritual perspective, because people don't realize what they sign, even just not saying nothing. Or even, you know what I'm saying, they say, you know what I'm saying, you can't expect to eat your mouth closed. Closed mouth don't get fed. But then at the same time, you can't expect to eat either if your study got your mouth open, all the food falling out. So 90% of the food is damn near falling out your mouth. You know what I mean? Because you're just smacking and you ain't closing your mouth between swallows and shit like that for you to intake what's going on. So at the end of the day, from a spiritual perspective, a lot of people end up biting off more than they could chew, and they ain't even trying to chew the right way of understanding it or breaking it down from that point of view. So now they get lost into other things that they didn't even know they was a part of once again. So it's like all the unconscious ways that we end up selling ourselves short or settling for. So even when it come down to, like me, for example, I tell my people all the time, but they be thinking I'm crazy just from saying it like this. But you know, after a while, in the beginning, but now they understand why I say it like this, right? I be like, you know, it wouldn't hurt me none to die today. And now what I mean by that is just saying, hey, if I don't get this, if I don't get that, if I don't get these things on earth to make me feel more important, I really don't care about them. Because at the end of the day, I have enough spiritual wealth where I'm going to like an esoteric market, and I'm spending like these bucks. And you know, when they're talking about the spiritual, we ain't talking about no thing or nothing like that. But when I'm breaking it down to y'all, it's just y'all to help y'all understanding of what a spiritual wealth and a spiritual self-value and how that thing work different compared to the other two optics of how I was saying low, medium, high. So when we looking at it from this point of view, due to we got to use direction to point at something, we're just saying high. You get what I'm saying? As in saying you won't be lost and crying and how I'm gonna say lost, crying, hurt, what's the shit? Unsatisfied, unfulfilled, unappreciated, and unaccepted to whatever happened in your life. So for me, it's like, hey, if I don't become rich, okay. If I don't become the biggest YouTuber in the world, okay. If I never get more than you know what I'm saying? So it don't really matter to me, because I know at the end of the day, these are the things that they like us to get lost into, even views and stuff. So when you go into people's channels and you see that these people have an automatic soul contract, like, let me break this down too, man, and get deep. Because a lot of people might be sitting home and they might be like, damn, why this stuff ain't working for me? And sometimes it's not even that. Sometimes the universe literally going against you, and it don't mean nothing to manifest them. Sometimes manifestations is not necessarily good. It just, dog, this the way that things play out, right? That you could be sitting there and wondering why this person being picked for whatever it is. which you shouldn't be anyway, because at the end of the day, you'll start kind of seeing it comes out to the public anyway, especially when it comes down to certain algorithms of YouTube. Like myself, I can see why they put certain people there, because you people know how to pander. These people is what the Masons expect, how they want you shaped. So therefore, they will want you to lead. Even if it's a smart person or idiot, they got both sides of the square. So when they got this shit going, they're trying to show you on a positive end, lower and higher of what person. So this could be a positive rich person or a positive broke person. Then you got a positive, or in this sense, they'll say a positive rich person or a positive person that they might not get that many views, but they have an algorithm that's based to them and it works for them, right? So it be all type of spiritual contracts where we'll be like, damn, I want to get views like this person or that person. But at the same time, you got two things that play out where you're not able to do you might not want to do the work that they're doing. And another thing is how this world work, be honestly, you might not be, because they might be doing things behind the scenes where they have signed contracts, actual physical contracts, in order for them to have being pushed through an algorithm. And you might be trying to do it for yourself and fulfillment, and now you don't fuck around and you trying to sell yourself so bad that now you got a whole crowd that don't even belong to you and don't give a fuck about you. So that's the same thing what I used to say about who cares if you get a billion viewers. It's all about the people that's actually taking in this information and fuck with you for you. So at the end of the day, none of that stuff really matters. So when you come down to this type of thing, that's when it get deep, because you'll end up with more how I'm gonna say, of things that you didn't know that's what you was manifesting. So something to the degree of like, damn, be careful what you ask for. So you don't want to end up with those type of contracts where you like, boy, I give the world up for me in order to get that car, or in order for me to get in that position. Because then you end up giving up the world. You end up taking your time away from everything else, and you end up focusing all your time into this, which is a contract. You know what I'm saying? And this contract is basically saying, hey, everything you do must come back to me. And it's talking about the physical world of how people actually take a physical oath over the spiritual oath that they already promised back to God, which is themselves, of becoming back one, of becoming, free from the world. But I will go in the world and experience it, but free myself from it. And a lot of people don't understand that. That's why we got a lot of reincarnation. And a lot of people seem like they're doing the same thing thousands of years ago that people did. And even when you look around, a lot of these people is born with certain talents and don't know why. Because this is the contracts they died to, or these are things that they didn't understand when they signed their spiritual pens in ink and in blood. You get what I'm saying? So now when we talk about what did you do the contract for, now this is the reason why people be saying like, you did a contract with the devil, you sold his soul and stuff like that. It's because a person willing to take away their own internal, and we're not talking about just a feeling. We're not talking about just a feeling or something. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, there be your sole purpose. And your sole purpose, now it done got to a point, it's hard for people to even find their sole purpose, because they ain't got time for that. They have to have time for the physical world, because they looking at it like it don't wait for nobody. In order for me to be in this position, this is what I have to do in order to get there. So a lot of times we sell something like that's the balance one, where you're trying to do it to even out your life to a degree, but at the same time you got to take some sacrifice. Something got to hit the spit, or something got to hit the fan in order for you to make it work. But at the end of the day, when we find ourselves getting put in these things, now we know how to get out of them, right? Because we like, yo, God damn, I'm not finna sign a spiritual contract. I'd rather just, get up out of it, or not even sign one. What? Damn, my bad, y'all. I'm not even gonna sign a spiritual contract now, because I know what it is. Because now on a spiritual note, you like, damn, I ain't know this what I was sacrificing for this. You know what I mean? And you start to be like, damn, I done lost all my friends and family, but yeah, I'm rich now, but now I ain't got nobody to share it with. You get what I'm saying? Or damn, I done spent all this time with this person, and now I ain't even got that person no more, or that person ain't even what I want no more. You unfulfilled, and now all these people over here mad at me. So it's like crazy. You know what I'm saying? And now you can't even go to those people because you done created some muddy water or stuff like that, where you done threw too much of shit at them. And it's like, damn, they like, yo, you know what? You got a point, but you don't have to be that emotional about it. You get what I'm saying? And you was like, nah, but I need to break away to grow for myself. So it be certain things people be signing, and then that's why a lot of times you see people that be lonely and stuff, even though it seems like they got everything the world can offer. And it's what's that? Oh, what's the world to the man if they what's something? It's basically talking about like the man having the world in his hand. It means nothing if they don't have their soul, something like that. Yeah. So it's basically like, yo, your whole purpose of even doing this from the beginning, you lost yourself. You got lost into the world. You don't even forgot what your sole purpose was. Like, you get what I'm saying? You didn't even need nobody to tell you, but now you all the way lost. to the point that you will have to go back and retrace your steps from lifetimes ago, or this lifetime, to see how you've been making mistakes lifetimes ago according to what you're trying to get done. And what I mean by mistakes is just like setbacks. You know what I'm saying? So just saying like there ain't no right or wrong, but the way that you did it is it put it back further where you didn't even have to sign that contract or make that agreement in order for you to get where you was trying to get at anyway. And now due to you done gained all this, now you got to fight through all this just to get back to even ground. So you're going 20 steps back. And this is what we be meaning by it. And it's like funny because this is the reason why they get people to lust after things and set things a certain way. Even relationships, right? Even when we see celebrity relationships, you don't get to see the interior. You don't get to see what they actually doing with their kids. They only show you what they want you to see. So if they're showing you what they want you to see, they're going to be in a certain state of mind to be like, hey, I don't want nobody to think like this. I don't want nobody to think like that. So they're already coming deflecting things. So this is another way that people come and they already have these things made up of, yo, this is what you got to do. You got to live like this. You got to make it look like this. So a person might not notice, well, this person going through hell and high waters just to look like they happy, and they really not. So this is another time where you can start seeing it in their body just start disintegrating. You like, damn, much as they be putting on that fake smile, it ain't even helping because their mind be already fucked up, and they be already gonna sell that spiritual contract of dang, they don't stretch the terms and agreements, and they don't they don't win against the devil. So now the devil got demons on them and got things like this. So they don't put a hex on themselves and things like that. So y'all, when they saying like other people and all this type of junk, don't take it so literal to be so scared of it. But it is what's going on. And the only thing you can do is fight it. So don't fear nothing but God in that sense, and not the God that they project to us. So it's like weird because I have to say all that just to say, just don't be scared of nothing. You feel what I'm saying? And when you see how miracles happen, you don't even have to keep bending on these contracts of you having to agree with something just to get something done on that end. So then when it come down to you actually dealing with other people, you won't be taking out some energy that don't actually belong to them, because now you don't mess yourself up mentally that you can't come around other people. You get what I'm saying? Or you don't mess yourself up to the point that other people don't even want to be around you. You get what I'm saying? Because every time you come around, you always making them feel belittled or things like that, because you don't put in so much work to get to this point in life. You don't care what nobody else got to say. Now, I'm going to just be real with y'all, man. I got uncles and stuff that do that too, man. I ain't going to lie to you. And I just thought about it, but just to throw it in there. And they might not try to do it or nothing like that, but it just be something like, okay, if God doing so good for you, why you ain't got what I got? Why you ain't got $3 million? Why you ain't got $5 million? Why you ain't got this? So they start basing it off of the things of the physical world. And they be like, but you said the same thing that anybody else would say. Or you got the same mind that anybody else can have. The mind that I have, nobody in our family or no one is around us even talking like this. The way y'all talking is already made, and the Masons been talking that way for years. You been had somebody do what you did. You know what I'm saying? On your footsteps. Y'all ain't doing nothing new. Y'all just going along with the program. So this is where those type of things come in at, where a person done signed another contract of they saying, hey, I'm gonna perform the duties and obligations of what's on this earth. And now they done forgot what God wanted you to be responsible for and God duties and stuff like that. So some people don't happen for it. Like me, for example, that might not be there because I got a different purpose. And by me not burying myself and worrying about so much of that in life, now I don't have to go through all that fighting even for me to get some esoteric currency. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like in the esoteric bank, I'm in the negatives. No, you feel what I'm saying? I have good credit when it come down to spiritual. You know what I'm saying? Like what your spiritual, your credibility for God is. Like, how many times you turned your back? You still turning your back? You still picking the things of this world? You still picking the things to lust out of that a man can walk up and take away from you? So anyways, man, that's all I wanted to talk about, man, and break that down, man. Y'all see, it's getting dark, man. OG Drip, and I'm out.